What's up, guys? Joe Munoz, OneStepPrep.com. Hope y'all are doing well. I just want to share with you a couple days ago, I did a live stream talking about how to have type rating success, how to pass type rating training. And I want to share with you the three things that I talked about of potential areas where you might struggle, particularly if you are new to the type rating game, if you're new to the jet world, and if you're new to 121 airline operations. The three things that we talked about was number one, how the aircraft operates. Two, how to operate the aircraft, and three, the environment in which you operate. Let me expand on those three and simplify them as best as I can. The first one, how the aircraft operates. Here's a very simple parallel. There's a lot of people out here driving their cars. They don't necessarily understand how the car actually runs. They don't understand the pistons, the timing, the four strokes, intake, compression, power, exhaust, what a spark plug is. They don't know how the air conditioning works. They don't know how their brakes work. They don't understand the windshield wipers and the fluids, right? And so, but they're driving their car. And so what's interesting about aircraft training and being a pilot is that you have to understand not only how to drive the car, how to fly the plane, but also how the car runs, how the airplane operates system-wise. And in an oral, they are checking primarily three things: memory items, limitations, these are the first two always, finally lights and switches. The lights and switches is a discussion of systems, or how the aircraft operates, how the car runs, or how the airplane is designed system-wise, what systems it has, what the lights mean, what the auto logic entails, right? The flight control laws in the case of a 320, right? And so we go through in our video program all these things in terms of systems-wise, describing how the aircraft operates with probable question preferred response. That's the first thing. The second thing now we get into is how to operate the aircraft. So now that we have an understanding of how the aircraft operates, setting you up for success in your oral, which is where they're going to check that, right? Now we now get into how to operate the aircraft, which is what they check in your check ride, right? This is what we do on a daily basis. It's interesting. If you ask any line pilot out there right now, maybe this is you, I'm speaking to you. Let's say somebody came to you and said, you know what, for the remaining part of your career, you no longer had to do an oral and a check ride. You only had to do one, and you get to choose which one you want to do for the rest of your career. Would you rather do an oral, or would you rather do a check ride for the rest of your career? Most pilots, not all, but most of them, would probably say they'd rather do check rides. And the reason they would rather do check rides is several faceted, but I would imagine part of the reason is because in a check ride environment, you are in your environment operating the plane, which is what you do on a daily basis when you're out doing your job flying the aircraft. You're operating the plane, right? You're not describing how it operates. That would be more of an oral, but you're actually operating the plane as you do on a daily basis, line flying. That's what the check ride, particularly AQP style training, is pretty much modeling. And so when we get into how to operate the aircraft, some areas where you may struggle is understanding the automation, how to integrate with the autopilot, with the auto thrust or the auto throttle system, what the FMA or the flight mode annunciator is telling you, what the mode control panel, the way you integrate with that MCP or the flight control unit, the FCU, depending on aircraft, right? By the way, a lot of these terms are basically interchangeable. It just depends on the fleet. Aircraft are more similar than different. I say that a lot in many of these videos. But basically understanding how to drive your car effectively, right? Not how it operates, but how to drive it, how to fly it now in this case, right? And so some areas would be the automation, the energy management, huge for the pilots that are coming from a turboprop background, from a light twin, maybe some GA background, single engine turboprop, any background that is not a jet, right? And so that's the areas now where we start to look towards our video platform that does indeed address this as well, in the form of simulator briefings with a whiteboard, the actual demonstration in the sim where we go through how to fly a steep turn or a stall in usual latitude, how to fly the V1 cut to perfection, the single engine ILS, the single engine go around, the engine failure on the go around, the TCAS event, like all these things that we talk about has more to do now with how to operate the aircraft. And you'll notice our video library is structured in this way, whereby we lay bricks to create a very solid foundation. All right, we don't set out to build a wall. We set out to lay bricks as effectively as we possibly can to have an effective foundation, right? So the first brick to lay here is how does the aircraft operate? Do that with the systems training portion, and then how to operate the aircraft. We're on to the second brick. The third brick now is the environment in which you operate. And this is really true for those of you that haven't flown in an airline before. You have an entire pushback sequence whereby the captain has to interact with the ground crew, with cockpit to ground. Go ahead. Yes, are you ready for pushback? Brakes release, clear to push, tail north, right? Push complete, set parking brake. Brake is set, clear to disconnect, show me the pin. What is a bypass pin, right? And so what is a dispatcher? What is an amendment? What is operational control? Like all these terms that we address in the 121 airline operations course is now getting into the environment in which you operate. And so if you're a new pilot, which the industry right now is trending towards hiring lower time pilots into the cockpits of modern jet airliners operating in a 121 environment, the three areas that I would definitively be looking to increase your, not just your competence, but your confidence level on is how the aircraft operates, how to operate the aircraft, and the environment in which it operates. You know, that little example I gave you about the nose wheel steering disconnect pin, the fact of the matter is, let's take the 737 just as an example. It has nose wheel steering. It operates off of the A hydraulic system with 3,000 PSI. You know, the reality of it is that if you were to have the nose wheel steering connected, meaning you have A system pressurized, the hydraulic pumps are on, and you have 3,000 psi going to your nose wheel steering, and you have a tow bar connected, and you depress one of these rudder pedals, you press them, right? What's going to happen is the tow bar is going to swing. Of course, if you have the tug connected, you're not going to swing the tug because the tug is heavy, but you could cause damage to the nose wheel. But let's say you don't have the tug and you've just got the tow bar connected. Next thing that's going to happen is the tow bar is going to swing left and right. If there's any ground personnel down there, you're probably going to hit them, you're going to injure them, you're probably going to take their ankles off. It's just really, really not a good situation, right? And so the significance of having a nose wheel steering disconnect pin is that what we actually get to do here is disconnect the nose wheel steering from the hydraulic A system, removing the 3,000 psi, so that now we can be safer in the pushback environment and ensuring that we don't risk injury or damage to anyone or anything down on the ground. Now, the fact of the matter is you wouldn't really understand what you telling the ground crew saying push complete, when they tell you push complete and you say, roger that, brake is set, clear to disconnect, show me the pin. What pin are they talking about? The nose wheel steering disconnect pin. What's the nose wheel steering disconnect pin for? Now we're getting into how the aircraft operates. Oh, that's actually for the hydraulic system, right? To bypass it. That has to do with the operation. Now we're tying it into the environment in which you're operating, which is the pushback from a gate in an airline 121 environment. All three of these parameters definitely need to be looked at. And we want to help you to train this. We want to help you to have success in your training program, whether you're going to a regional, whether you're going to a low-cost carrier, you're going to a legacy carrier. I can tell you here, you're looking at the studio setup. We got plenty of courses recorded right in here. We do lots of live streams, lots of virtual training, lots of in-person training. I should take you actually to our classrooms upstairs. Let me go take you over there so you can see what's going on upstairs. But we definitely want to work with you, and we can do it here in person or on a video. Where would I start, right, if I was looking to get going in an airline? The first place I would basically start is understanding what you can expect in type rating training. What's setting an expectation. There's always disappointment where expectations are not met. And so getting clear on what the expectation for training is the place that I would begin. And the place that you can do that with us is the playbook, Type Rating Playbook to Success. I put this playbook together to basically share with you how does a typical training footprint go? Where's the common roadblocks? What to do about instructors that are more examiners than educators, right? And how you can ensure that you lay a solid foundation for yourself in training to have success in the program. That's the Type Rating Playbook to Success. It's a 60-page easy read ebook. There's also a video program where I read it to you and I expand outside of the book, and there's an audio program that you can download as well. Let me take you into our classrooms here. By the way, that's onestepprep.com/playbook. That's where you can grab that, onestepprep.com/playbook. Look, all these programs are very, very affordable, and I would very highly encourage you, make the investment in yourself and your career. A lot of times people ask me, what's the investment, right? What's the cost of doing this? The better question is, what's the cost of not doing this? I just want you to understand, I'm giving you some advice that I do from my own personal standpoint every time I'm making a big decision or a big investment. The real question is, what's the cost? Not what is the cost of doing it, what's the cost of not doing it? That's really what I want to consider. So here's our classrooms. Okay, we've got 4 of them. We got a big expansion ongoing. This is going to be a little instructor, student lounge area. Instructor rooms back there. I'll take you there in a second. This is one of our first classrooms. This houses up to 4. 2 crews, 4 students here. Just give you a little tour Okay, very modern, very clean. We actually got a class starting in a couple days. That's why that's all set up. This is another one of our classrooms over here. Okay, also set up for 4 pilots, 2 crews. That's an A320 classroom. This is an instructor lounge. This is one of our larger setups over here. Still being built out, but you can see it's coming together nicely. This is going to house up to 16 students comfortably. And then over here we've got and then here's another one of our classrooms. Houses comfortably up to about 12 or so pilots. I want to work with you, all right, whether that's in person or online, however you want us to come into your life somehow, hopefully to add value to you, to be of service and be able to help you in your career. Let me leave this closed up. We got a class there starting on Monday. We just want to lay a foundation with you, a solid foundation of bricks. All right, so I hope this video finds you well. Joe Munoz the name, Juan Dominguez, your friends in training program success. Don't forget these 3 things: how the aircraft operates, how to operate it, and finally, the environment in which you operate. All right, we'll see you here. Joe Munoz, OneStepPrep.com.